with Jimmy Butler, they could trade for him to try and get a bigger free. I know he was in Los Angeles a couple weeks ago actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know what they'd have to give up for that. Probably D'Angelo Russell and the number 2 pick in the draft. I don't even know if the Bulls take that.
Yeah.
But you get a guy like Butler or a guy like Boogie to come. I say you overtrade for that. Who knows? Maybe give up Russell and Randall. I don't know. You give up a ton. You overtrade, but then that makes it a way more attractive option for a guy like Kevin Durant or any other big name free agent to come, because then they say, hey, we got something going in LA instead of just 5 guys under the age of 25 with a rookie head coach. Also, something that could affect it, I don't know to what degree, but Steph's like a little guy. The media votes on the MVP for the majority. They relate to him. They like him. Like, Steph's the most lovable player I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And they love Steph. They can relate to him because he's little and can jack up shots, and he's not insanely athletic.
Yeah.
And I think they can relate that a lot better than LeBron just being 6'8", 270, and just being able to do physically whatever he wants on the court. So
Yeah,
I think that has, and Steve Kerr getting Coach of the Year, same thing. You know, he's sort of an average Joe coach, like played in the league, but he had to like work really hard for it. He's kind of similar to Steph, like, you know, what God-given ability, and I just think they really relate to that well, and I think it hurts guys like LeBron that are just physical specimens. And I mean, it's a joke. Steve Nash has more MVPs than Kobe Bryant, I think.
Yeah. All right, moving on. What do you think about the whole men's soccer versus women's soccer in the USA situation?
Yeah, so there's a Title IX lawsuit coming out with the women trying to sue, trying to get money because they're getting less than the men, and it's hurt. The men are nowhere near as good, and I guess more people are watching the women actually,
Yeah.
because the women are really good and the men aren't. And it's just an interesting topic that made me start thinking, because why are the women better than the men? Like, in America, why is there such a big gap? And I think there's 2 big reasons that I think contribute to it. One is that America's, I know there's big gender inequalities and everything, but compared to other countries, women are way ahead of almost all other countries when we're talking about women in the United States. We have the Title IX laws to give them equal funding and opportunity. They go into soccer, so in all sports and every other facet, and it really helps our women have the right training. You know, they get paid there's incentives for women to be good at soccer in America, where in Iraq and a bunch of other countries that women, they don't care about women, and they're not getting, their women's sports are irrelevant pretty much.
Yes.
Also, I think another big thing is that in all these countries in Europe, South America, Central America, pretty much every other country in the world, the biggest sport is soccer, and that is all they care about. Every little kid that grows up wants to be Lionel Messi, wants to be Ronaldo, and in America, the best athletes grow up. They want to be LeBron, they want to be Kobe, they want to be Cam Newton, they want to be football, basketball, maybe baseball players. And the best athletes in America that are the most skilled are not growing up saying, hey, I'm going to play soccer, which I'm not saying, you know, LeBron's probably the best athlete in the world, or at least in the United States, that I would say.
Yes.
And LeBron James is not growing up saying, hey, I want to be the next great soccer player, which I'm not saying either that LeBron would be a great soccer player if he grew up playing soccer, but certainly with all the talent there is, talent, speed, size in the NBA and NFL wide receivers and defensive backs, the combination of size and speed, I think, in the NBA and NFL are just, you don't see that anywhere else. And that certainly, size and speed, I know, isn't as big in soccer, but it would certainly help, along with their extremely good coordination. So I think that has a big impact on why our men's team is so far behind and our women's team is so good. Because one, soccer is one of the top sports for women in America, and we support our women unlike almost any other country in the world. And the men just, like, no one grows up here wanting to be a soccer player. What's your take on it? I see both sides of it, because one, you can make the argument that Kevin, like MJ wouldn't have left. Like you hear stuff like that all the time, where it's just not the right thing to do, since essentially Kevin Durant forced him, or not forced, but if Kevin Durant doesn't choke in games 6 and because he didn't really play that great in game 6 and game 7, him and Westbrook had a monstrous meltdown at the end of 7 when they had all those turnovers in like the last 3 minutes. But I can see how people like, they're up 3-1 on him, and he lost to him, so he just said, I can't beat him, so I'm gonna go join the super team, which I don't like that, because he needs to be tough. He needs to tough it out and go win it on his own. But I also see how he's been in the league 12 years, 11 years, around
something,
that.
It's like 9.
Yeah,
because after the streak, it's the upper 2 max.
Yeah, and he has no titles, and basically now this basically started with LeBron, where the media and society, if you don't have before LeBron, I don't know, I was young, but from what I've heard, before LeBron, there wasn't really the narrative where if you don't win a title, like if you don't win a title, you're a complete loser and your career sucked. But now, somehow, in today's society, that's what the narrative is. And Kevin Durant's probably looking at this and saying, hey, if I don't win a title, I'm just going to be like Charles Barkley or all these other guys that you're like, they were good and all, but they never won a title. And I think he knows going to Golden State. I mean, I don't want to say like 100% guarantee, but I'd put the odds extremely high. Over 50% he's going to win a title with them, where I'd put him under 50% if he was still with Oklahoma City. So I see both sides of it, where it's just society bags on the guys for leaving, but if they didn't leave, if Kevin Durant didn't leave, then we would be bagging on him for not winning a ring in Oklahoma City if he never won one there. So I feel like it was a lose-lose for him either way. I mean, I think the general consensus would be that the society would accept it better if he would have stayed in Oklahoma City, but he had to do what was best for him. And I really respect him for taking a big risk and doing this and not caring what people think about him. Yeah, it's interesting you bring up the cap, because there's two things that you know, just looking at all the contracts and stuff, and how much guys like Ryan Anderson got paid, Harrison Barnes got a max deal, Parsons got an insane deal, Bazemore got an insane amount of money. I think those guys, they've worked extremely hard. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but I think either they should make the cap to where to keep these absurd contracts from happening is either not have a personal salary cap to where if you want to pay LeBron $100 million for, I don't know, and be 90% of your cap, I think you should be able to do that. Or to make it to where you take out like the last 30% of the cap. Jason Whitlock actually suggested this, where you take out like the last 30% of the cap or so, and then give that to the teams that win. Right? Like you distribute over winning and stuff, so that there's a better incentive for the players to play harder and win. Because like Melo's getting millions to suck, like for his team just to suck. So that would be a better incentive for the teams and the players to be a lot better. But I mean, these guys, I'm happy to see guys like Bazemore get paid, but I think they're getting paid way more than their value really is. At the end of the day, I think he sticks with the Heat because he bounced around the league when he was young, ended up going to the D League, doing everything like that. Really was a journeyman, which he's still young, but his first couple years in the NBA, he was all over the place for how young he was. And he settled in. Pat Riley believed in him, gave him his first like real shot, starting role and everything. And Whiteside made the most of him, made a ton of money this season. And I just think at the end of the day, Whiteside, he's going to respect that and say, these guys, they've been with me. They believed in me, unlike all these other teams in the league that passed on me, so I want to stick with them. And you can get theory I've kind of developed is that you saw how bad they were in free agency. Their biggest name they got was Timothy Mozgov. They offered him
in the first 10 minutes of free agency, 12-15. They signed him to a 4-year, $64 million deal or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
and they couldn't even get meetings with Dwayne Wade. Or not Dwayne Wade. I mean, I'm sure they couldn't have gotten a meeting with Dwayne Wade, but they couldn't even get a meeting with Kevin Durant, who they were like, they honestly thought they could get him. Like their front office believed they had a good shot at it, and he wouldn't even meet with them.
It's
And
unbelievable.
Whiteside didn't even really give them a look, and he cut them out like a couple days before he had to sign. And I think what's happened is that the Lakers used to get all the guys back in the day, and now no one wants to go play for the Lakers. And I think the biggest reason for that is that the media has exploded, and it's really killed off like the importance of being in a big market like Los Angeles, which them and New York are the two biggest markets in the world. And I don't I think that's just really killed all the motivation for guys saying, "Oh, well, I'm gonna go play for the Lakers. They're in a big market," when they can play in like New Orleans or Milwaukee and get just the same amount of media coverage and advertising and all that, because the media has exploded so much. Like Russell Westbrook, he's a superstar. He is he is everywhere, like TV and just he's a icon. And I don't know how much bigger of an icon he is if he's in LA, because I think back in the 90s, Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City is just like no one knows no one really knows much about him, but he's a big personality, big icon throughout America. You got Westbrook jerseys everywhere. Everyone loves Russell Westbrook. And same way with Kevin Durant when he was in Oklahoma City, which I think back in the day before media exploded, that going to LA was a big deal for that, because you can get movies, ads, get on like TNT or ESPN as an analyst. But now it's all equal. Like everyone sees Oklahoma City on TV. So I think that's been the biggest reason for the Lakers having their downfall, is that they can't really attract free agents, because players just want to play where they can win at the end of the day now, and not where they can be a star, because they can be a star everywhere. LeBron's a star in Cleveland, Ohio.